series called Narcissism. And ever since I discovered what narcissism was and what narcissistic behaviors and traits are with certain people that I've came across, it's very disappointing to know that most people that I know are narcissists or have narcissistic tendencies. But again, I must also say too, the proof is in the pudding. Do your own research on that. And if that's you that's having an issue with that, whether it's yourself or with someone else, to get medical attention, because it's a personality disorder. And it can come to a point where things can get out of hand and things go the way you don't want them to go because you're not aware of what narcissism can do to someone's life and your life. And that's the message here. And a lot of that has to do with anger. And that's the piece that I want to deal with specifically tonight. That anger has become a problem in our community, in our neighborhoods, in our society. And people can put labels on it, from racism to unfairness. But my thing is this. Anger is anger. And if it's acted upon in an incorrect way, it can cause damage. And most of the time, when you're consumed by it and programmed by it and raised in it, you tend to act out those feelings in a way where it's offensive and disrespectful to other people. You may or may not realize it or not, but anger is not going to help you. It is a feeling that you know that something is not right and something needs to be addressed. It's not for you to act violent, start an argument, and do other things that cause a division. Because we got enough of that going on anyway. So why more add problems to yourself by letting anger reside in you for too long? So as I was researching just a tad bit through online, what article to share, I came across this first one that I'm going to read off real quick. And it's called, Why Am I So Angry? And it says, anger can be a force for good, but ongoing, intense anger is neither helpful nor healthy. Here's How to Get a Grip by Melissa Bienvenue. At one time or another, everyone feels anger bubbling up. There's nothing wrong with that. Anger is common. It's a normal response when you sense a threat or a social, professional slight. So, when the new guy at work gets promoted and you don't, or when your spouse pushes your buttons, it's okay to feel hot under the collar. Some people have trouble turning it off or dealing with it the right way, though. Chronic, ongoing anger can tear down your relationships, job, social life, reputation, even your health. Anger itself is neither good nor bad, explains Mitch Abrams, PhD, an anger management expert and psychiatry professor at the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School at Rutgers University. Low to moderate anger can even work for good, prompting you to the wrong things and make improvements. But it also kicks your body's natural defenses into overdrive. When you sense a threat, your nervous system releases powerful chemicals that prepare you to fight, run, and stay alive. Your heart rate and breathing quicken. Your blood pressure rises, muscles tense, and you perspire. The problem is, chronically angry people spend too much time in this hyped up state. Over time, that puts too much wear and tear on your body, making you more likely to get heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and other problems. The rapid anger response also amps up your brain. On one hand, it helps you quickly know a potential threat. On the other, it can push you to make rash decisions in the heat of the moment. It's no surprise anger is linked to accidents and risky activities like smoking, gambling, drinking, and overeating. Anger also plays a role in depression. Also, studies suggest that holding it inside may be just as unhealthy as blowing up. At the least, unchecked anger can hold off the people you need the most. Worse, it can turn into aggression or violence. Quote, nobody ever gets into trouble for feeling angry, Abrams stresses. But people sometimes get into trouble for what they do when they feel angry, end quote. That was the first one, which I thought was very, very good. Now, this next one is one of my favorites, tinybuddha.com. 20 things to do when you're feeling angry with someone. So we're going to pull that up and see what that's about. If you are patient in one moment of anger, you will escape 100 days of sorrow. Chinese proverb. As Tiny Buddha grows larger, I find there are a lot of people emailing me with requests. The people pleaser in me wants to say yes to everyone, but the reality is that there's only so much time in the day, and we all have a right to calculate our time as best supports our intentions, needs, and goals. Recently, someone contacted me with the request that I was unable to honor. After I communicated that, he made a sweeping judgment about my intentions and character, ending his email with, Buddha will be appalled. As ironic as this may sound given the context of this site, I felt angry. I felt angry because I have always struggled with saying no, and this was exactly the type of uncomfortable encounter I generally aim to avoid. I felt angry because I felt misunderstood and judged, and I wanted him to realize that he was wrong about me. I felt angry because I assumed he intended to be hurtful, and I didn't feel like I deserved that. I ended up responding to his email fairly quickly with a little bit of defensiveness, albeit with restraint. After I pressed send, I felt a little angry with myself for letting this bother me. Then I realized that this was a wonderful exercise in learning to deal with anger. It's inevitable that I feel that way again. And many times, with people I know well and love, we all will. We'll all have lots of misunderstandings and annoyances, and lots of opportunities to practice responding to anger calmly and productively. If we're mindful, we can use these situations to better ourselves and our relationships. With this in mind, I put together this guide to dealing with anger. Sit with your anger. 1. Allow yourself to feel angry. You may think you need to cover negative feelings with positive ones. You don't. You're entitled to feel whatever you need to feel. We all are. 2. Make a conscious choice to sit with the feeling. Oftentimes, when I'm angry, I feel the need to act on it. But later, I generally wish I waited. Decide that you're not going to do anything until the feeling has less of a grip on you. 3. Feel the anger in your body. Is your neck tense? Is your chest burning? Is your throat tightening? Are your legs twitching? Recognize the sensations in your body and breathe into those areas to clear the blockages that are keeping you feeling stuck. 4. See this as an exercise in self-soothing. You can get yourself all revved up, stewing in righteousness and mentally rehashing all the ways you were wronged. Or you can talk yourself down from bitter rage into a place of inner calm. In the end, we're the only ones responsible for our mental states. So this is a great opportunity to practice regulating yours. 5. Commit to acting without seeking retribution. Decide that you are not looking to get even or regain a sense of power. You're looking to address the situation and communicate your thoughts about it clearly. Explore your anger. 6. Check in with your mood before the incident. Were you having a bad day already? Were you already feeling annoyed or irritated? It could be that someone's actions were the straw that broke the camel's back, but not fully responsible for creating these feelings. 7. Ask yourself, why is this bothering you so much? Is it really what someone else did, or are you feeling angry because of what you're interpreting their actions to mean? For example, you may think that your boyfriend not showing up means that he doesn't respect you, when he may have a valid explanation. 8. Take a projection inventory. If you're angry with someone for doing something that you've done many times before, your feelings may be magnified by seeing a behavior of your own that you're not proud of. Look for all areas where you may be projecting your own traits onto someone else to get closer to the root of your feelings. 9. Journal about it. Grab your pen and walk yourself through it step by step. What did the other person do? Are you assuming negative intentions on their part? Have they done this before? How do you feel besides angry? Do you feel insecure, frustrated, or confused? Get it all out. 10. Put it in a letter. Now that you know more clearly what part the other person played in your anger and which part is more about you, write a letter to him or her. You may send this letter, or you may end up just burning it. This is to help you clarify what exactly you like that person to know, understand, or change. Respond without anger. 11. Now that you're clear about the role you played in your anger, initiate a verbal conversation about what bothered you. You can also send the letter you wrote, but it will be easier to clarify parts the other person doesn't understand if you're having a direct back and forth exchange. 12. Use I feel language. So instead of saying, you didn't show up, so you obviously don't care about me, say, when you forget about the things that are important to me, I feel hurt. In this way, you're not assuming the other person meant to make you feel bad. You're just explaining how it makes you feel so they can understand how their actions impact you. 13. Resist the urge to unload all your unspoken grievances. Sometimes one annoyance can open the floodgates to a laundry list of complaints, but no one responds well to a barrage of criticism. Stick to the issue at hand and address the other things at some other time. 14. Stay open to the other person's perspective. It's possible that they feel angry too and think that you're the one in the wrong. It's also possible that there isn't a right or wrong, but rather two people who see things differently and need to see each other's point of view. 15. Focus on creating a solution. If your goal is to get the other person to admit that they're wrong, you'll probably end up in a power struggle. Focus instead on what you'd like to change in the future. For example, if you appreciate it if she would come straight to you next time instead of complaining about you behind your back. You can help facilitate this by owning some responsibility that you will listen if he comes to you instead of getting emotional. Learn from your anger. Number 16. Learn what you value. This situation taught you something useful about what you value in the people you choose to be friends with, maybe directness, humility, or loyalty. This will help you decide which people you might want to spend more or less time with going forward. 17. Learn what you need. It might be something you need to improve your relationship, or it might be that you need to end a relationship because you know it doesn't serve you. Learn it, own it, act on it. Number 18. Learn how to communicate clearly. This experience was an exercise in expressing yourself in the best way to be heard and understood. There will definitely be more situations like this in the future. So this is good practice for misunderstandings and